It's all good. How you been feeling?
Oh, well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the Role Players Guild. I have been feeling burnt out, but at least my stomach isn't killing me like it was last week.
That's fair.
But it's okay. We are finally back with some Dream Dealers of Fairhaven
Yes.
after 2 weeks, so I'm sure you guys will need a recap. I know I do, because my brain is all melty. But for now, I am Beluga, your guildmaster here at the Role Players Guild, and I play Mark V, the Warforged Warlock. Alex, to you, lore on deck.
Lore on deck. Yes, I am Alex. I am Wow, I think I found it. Maybe. Sorry. I am Alex from the Role Players Guild as well, and I am playing Xylix Searster, your lizard folk, cleric, druid, multi-class companion.
What job?
Laura.
Hello, I'm Laura. I'm playing Gilzaf. He's soul knife multi-classed into a psychic. It's fine.
Mystic.
And what?
It's a mystic, right?
It is a mystic. It is a mystic. You're correct. It's a mystic. And now it's Beast Spouse's turn.
I'm Beast Spouse. I'm currently playing Svetlana and her pet goat, former pet goat, mechanical goat, whatever. Jason.
All right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another exciting action-packed episode of Dungeons & Dragons in the realm of Eberron, running the adventure called The Dream Dealers of Fairhaven. My name is Jason. I will be your guide to the light. And tonight, you brave and perhaps foolish adventurers have found yourselves on a little shopping trip. And you're right, it's been a little while, so a little bit of a little recap, right? A young, ambitious merchant named Gorman Utali has had the opportunity to bring an exclusive item to market in Fairhaven called the Lucidia Stones. These stones, beautiful as they are, allow for someone to experience lucid dreaming. You buy one, you take it home, you set it next to your bed, and you stare into it as you fall asleep. And the next thing you know, you're able to control your dreams. What a wonderful product. But all is not quite well. Business is going well. Business is booming for Utali, but not all is as it should be. Some people, a small amount, are kind of freaking out. Some people are kind of going a little crazy, committing heinous acts, violent acts, hideous acts, landing themselves in jail, getting themselves kicked out of Bunko Club, and other horrible things. Murders, destruction, all of these horrible things. Chaos is beginning to kind of take over the streets a little bit. And the only common thread, the only thing people are able to tie it to, the only thing that the people who are investigating this stuff are able to tie it to, is that each of these people who went crazy used a Lucidia Stone. That's the only common thread they're able to kind of figure out. Enter our adventurers, who have been tasked by the investigative branch of the City Watch to find out what the heck is going on and what's the cause behind all of these crazy incidents. Your quest has led you here to the shop of Gorman Utali's, which is called the Gorman Utali's Interplanar Emporium of Arcane Wonders. Gorman Utali travels far and wide, even into different planes of existences, and comes back with many wonderful and exotic items, magic items, items which he places up for sale and offers to the public at a premium, usually, which is where you each find yourselves here. Stepping in through the shop, you had a chance to kind of look around last week, had a chance to kind of look over the inventory and things like that, and you each kind of found something that you might be interested in. There is jingling in your pockets, and as official representatives of the investigative branch of the City Watch, you have been granted a little magical tablet, it's about the size of a credit card, and it seems to act like one too, actually. With the emblem of the City Watch on it, right? Or what is the house that handles security? I can't remember what it was.
That's a house.
The guild house that handles those things, like House Stevens.
You know.
I can't remember what
That
it was.
Kundarik is the house that does vaults and wards.
Okay, it might be them. It's more to do with like security and
The bodyguards is Danae.
Danae. So yeah, it's got that emblem on it. So you kind of have access to the City Watch's coffers, and by extension, that particular house, right? As official, as you know, investigators yourselves, you step into the shop to kind of check out what is available and what is there. We can start with Xylek. Have you found something that you're interested in?
So yes, I was quite interested in. Oh gosh, I forgot the official name of it. The spell storing. Oh no, that's not it. What was it called? The spell storing thing.
Is it the Amulet of Reserve?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up.
Amulet of Reserve?
Yes, the Amulet of Reserve military issue.
Okay.
Ooh, thank you.
All right. So yeah, that is 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So Gorman kind of makes his way over to this counter, and he lifts the display cover and reaches in with one hand and pulls the amulet out and presents it to you. He says it was used by the battle mages of Onder during the last war. And as you look at it, there's a vibrant purple gem that is set into this amulet. He says it stores spells which are cast into it, holding them until you use them. Most, it says, most of these amulets can store only about 3 spells, or up to level 3. This one can store up to level 6 levels of spells.
Ooh.
It sounds pretty perfect for my kind of casting.
Okay. And he goes on to explain any creature capable of casting a spell of level 1 through 6 can cast such spells into the stone by touching it as the spell is cast. The spell has no effect other than to be stored in the stone. If the stone can't hold the spell is expended without effect. The level of the slot used to cast the spell determines how much space it uses. So, a second level spell, that's 2 levels, right? Fourth level spell, that's 4 levels, or a single level 6 spell, and so on. While you wear the amulet, you can cast any spell stored within the stone. The spell cast uses the slot level, the spell save DC, and the spell attack bonus, and spell casting ability of the original caster, who stored the spell within the stone. Sorry, that's on table or off table knowledge. Gorman doesn't actually say that, but that's how it works.
What's a spell slot?
Right. I would have that question too. Good thing your DM knows what he's doing, right? But yeah, good. Gorman kind of sets his posture and says, "Does it pique your interest, my friend?"
Yes, I'd say that it does.
Okay. We have a purchase agreement then.
Who
Yes.
who has the card? Didn't Elspeth have the card? Who has the card?
If Elspeth has it, then
That's
it
where
means
Elspeth went.
Svetlana has it, which means you're all in trouble. Actually, Goat probably has it in that case.
It's just hanging from the goat bot's neck, right?
He's got
At least
saddle
it's not
bag.
eating
Works. That works. Svetlana, as you hear that question asked, do you wish to produce the card?
Yeah, absolutely. Although she is still, like I said, pretty much not quite licking the glass and staring at that pistol. But she
Right.
does brandish the card overhead, just like, I've got it over here.
Good. Okay.
Wait, what are we doing with it anyway?
All I know is we're supposed to give it when we want to buy things using the police money. And it's got to be useful for our quest. But I would argue that anything that we're using right now is useful for our quest, including but not limited to if I wanted to go buy a fancy ball gown.
Svetlana is unclear about the ball gown part, but she is picking up what you're putting down, and her eyes are going.
Well, because if I wanted to go buy it, it would make me happy. Keeping me happy keeps me on task for this quest, and therefore
I'm not asking for an explanation. I assure you. He was just told that she has the card that will pay out of the cops' money. He has opinions about spending the cops' money.
Mm-hmm.
Do it. Yes, do it. Buy everything in the shop. Buy the shop. I just thought of a great idea, guys. We'll stop the use of the Lucidia stones by buying Gorman Utali out of his shop. Completely off.
Yeah, we just buy all of the Lucidia stones so that we don't, no one uses them.
And also the shop. And then we can get rid of the stones and become shopkeepers.
We have them locked away in a vault where no one can access them.
Exactly.
You can get rid of them one at a time for the same price that Gorman Utali is selling them too.
Exactly. Wait.
That's an interesting question. That's an interesting premise. Makes me think of like real world examples, and like for all the money that we spent on the war on drugs, I wonder how much it would have cost to just buy up all the drugs.
Yeah.
Technically, we did buy a lot of the drugs. We also gave them a lot. So, like,
Yeah, there's that. It helps when everyone's kind of on the same page about stuff. But yeah, for sure. Alrighty.
I'm gonna actually. Gilzaf is gonna stop. Svetlana, is that?
yes.
That's correct. Okay. Not stop you because you're not paying any attention to that you're holding up. But wait before we make purchases. Why don't we gather everything we want to purchase perhaps we're purchasing enough for a deal of some sort. If I had eyebrows, I would be waggling them at Gorman Utali.
Okay.
You know, one tradesman to another or whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
For instance, it seems my friend here is eyeing that flintlock. Is that correct?
Hmm?
Is that something that you wish to buy?
I can't hear you over the sound of the beauty of this weapon.
I'm gonna grin at Utali and in an inviting manner. Why don't you tell us more about this flintlock?
All right. The flintlock, of course. He steps. He places the amulet back within the case, and he says, "This amulet will be ready for you at the counter when you're ready to make your purchase." And he kind of waves his hand a little bit over the glass panel that holds the amulets, all of these necklaces and stuff, and the amulet of reserve just kind of slowly disappears from view. He then turns his attention, and it kind of occurs to you at this point that there might be, just kind of having this stuff just out on the counters, out in the shop, might be a bit of a security risk. And it's at that point you begin to kind of wonder if any of this stuff is at least on display. What is display, if any of it's actually the actual item? And then it kind of occurs to you, maybe these are like those, like fake phones that you that you see at the cell phone store, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this one disappears from view, and it says it will be ready for you at the counter when you're ready to make your purchase. He turns his attention to Svetlana, and he says, "The flintlock is rare indeed." He goes and he waves his hand over a portion of the glass and lifts the glass panel. Reaching in carefully with two hands, he lifts this piece of iron with a heft and hands it to you, Svetlana, for you to kind of take into your hands to feel its weight and to know its truth. The Artificer's flintlock of the Red Dragon. During the last war, artificers were marshaled on a grand scale. Many lives were lost due to the mass destruction of their creations. This weapon embodies the lethality of their craft. Ordinarily, this is simply... DM notes, ordinarily this is simply a magical +1 fire damage pistol. However, in the hands of an artificer, this weapon takes on some properties of an arcane firearm / an explosive cannon. He begins to speak. If an artificer attunes to this weapon, this pistol will fire with much greater force. A little more fire, if you know what I mean. The pistol rolls damage, all increased by 1d8. In addition, as an action, the attuned artificer can command the pistol to detonate if you're within 60 feet of it. Doing so destroys the pistol and forces each creature within 20 feet of it to make a dexterity saving throw against your spell save DC, taking 3d8 force damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one.
Mm-hmm.
Let us say it is not a gentlemanly weapon.
Meter on my horns, I've been told. And she's going to very slowly hand it back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I should be allowed to hold this right now.
Are you certain? It suits you.
I'm well aware of that, and I would love to take it out to the store with me, but I should not be holding it right now.
I think she's saying she'll walk out of the store with it.
Right. Makes sense. Yes. Are we not all weak to certain temptations? No worries, my friend. This is simply an illusory piece. The real one is held on a secure premise. But if you're interested in a purchase, perhaps your hands would feel comfortable grasping it and walking out the door after you have purchased it rightfully. Is that something you're interested in, my friend?
Yes.
Very well. We have a deal then. And he kind of places the pistol back into the case and closes the glass, and there's a wave of his hand, and you see something. Make a quick perception check. Let's see if anybody else kind of catches this. Is anybody else watching what's going on with Svetlana and Utali?
I'm watching to see if I can catch what magic is at play. Not because I could do anything about it, but for knowledge reasons.
I think
Okay,
I
except
would
Bill.
be as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Mark 5, Gilzaf and Svetlana make a quick perception check.
Is
Active
goat
perception.
allowed as
I
well?
needed my dice.
If the goat would be super interested in what's happening.
The goat just
goat-
had a magic trick pulled on it.
The goat keeps his eyes open. That's like its thing.
Okay.
It's got the old vigilant, so it can't be surprised.
Okay.
Keep your eyes on goat to know what's going on. I'll be honest.
Right.
Wait, was this a perception?
Yeah. Active perception check.
I rolled a 1.
Okay.
I rolled a 16.
Okay. All right. 16. And is Causal the name of the goat?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So good. Okay. Who got a 16?
I did.
That was Mark 5, right?
Mhm.
And Causal. All right. So the two of you do notice something. Svetlana, not so much. Gilzaf, not so much. But as Gorman Utali waves his hand over the like the runes and whatnot and emblems that hold this that control whatever magic it is that makes these things appear and have substance, you see characters appear just briefly as Gorman waves his hand, and you see the name of Svetlana appear in small runes, and then disappears. And along with that disappearing, the item disappears as well. The flintlock is removed from sight, almost as if there's some kind of a binding between the name of the purchaser and the item being purchased.
That's fancy.
However,
Only I saw that.
right, in whatever way the goat would relay that information, feel free to let that happen.
He doesn't.
Okay, right on.
And I don't see it as necessary information to reveal, so...
Okay. All right.
The goat
Excellent.
definitely has some real good observation skills because I was pulling a magic trick on it.
Yep.
At the same time, and I was
it-
super distracted by pulling the magic trick, but it was like
Right.
Goat's job is
figured it
to
out,
keep
didn't
Svetlana safe.
mm-hmm.
Svetlana's job is
not to pay attention to me.
Svetlana's job is to not pay attention to things because Goat's doing it.
That's fair.
Right. All right. It is good. Let's see. Mark 5. Is there anything in the shop that piques your interest?
Yes. It was the tablet. Oh, I have this right here. The golden tablet of the Siren War Mage. I don't know if I pronounced that right.
I think it's Siren.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. The tablet. A relic of the last war. When held in one hand, this golden tablet shines with a brilliance that envelops the wielder in a 10-foot radius of daylight. He picks it up, and sure enough, as he grips it with his second hand, this radiance kind of just shines upon him, almost as bright as day. DM notes, this tablet requires attunement by a spellcaster and carries 6 charges. Each dawn, the tablet will gain 3 charges, up to 6 total. If all charges are expended, the tablet ceases to shine and loses its magic. On your turn, you can use a bonus action to expend a charge to gain a +2 bonus for a single spell attack that you roll. In addition, you ignore half cover when holding this tablet with one hand, and activating it when you. Sorry, did I write that right? You ignore half cover when holding this tablet with one hand and activating the daylight effect. I'm going to say both hands because it takes both hands to activate that. So when you hold it with both hands, you have to ignore half cover because you're enveloped in a massive ray of light.
Okay.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
is it only when holding it, or is it when you're using the ability?
When holding it with 2 hands.
When holding it with 2 hands.
Mhm.
Okay.
So essentially, depending on your DM, right?
Right.
I'm not really a stickler about hand gestures and things like that when casting spells. I might be a stickler when trying to hold something or hold a door open or something like that. But to gain the +2 bonus for your spell attack roll, you need to be holding this with 2 hands.
Okay.
I'm not a real stickler about we'll get into those situations and stuff, and I usually try to work with my players with those kind of things. But essentially, to bring balance to the item, it's you have to hold it with 2 hands.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Is this something you could see yourself going home with, my friend?
It could be useful.
Yeah. And that awful Rumpelstiltskin countenance comes over him and says, "Do we have a deal?" Right? Okay. So yeah, to Mark 5. The tablet. All right. So here's the other interesting thing. He runs his hand over he places it back into the case, closes the lid, and runs his hands over the glyph. And you see your name. Here's the thing that also occurs to each of you. Well, mostly to Mark 5, because only Mark 5 and Causal actually caught it. You never actually gave this guy your name. Somehow it was, but it just appeared within those
Dun,
glyphs.
dun, dun.
That information is a
I
lot
gave
more
him my name.
significant.
Okay. Right? Okay. And this occurs to you at this point. It's like, that's neat and all, and then you're like, well, wait a minute, I never gave this guy my name. Okay.
How
Mhm,
does it
mhm.
know my name?
Okay.
I'm actually asking him.
Okay. Yeah. Gorman's eyes meet yours, and says, "I make it a point to know my customers. I've employed," and his eyes kind of cast about the room, and he says, "I've employed various magical technologies that help me to know my customers. Don't worry. Only information that is publicly known or publicly given is at use in these mechanisms. Suffice it to say, I simply try to know any actual viable information about who's buying my wares." And you can probably deduce he's not being super. Obviously, he's being a little bit vague, but he's probably using some kind of a detection magic when you step into the store that likely tells people or tells the shop owner, who you are, maybe what your interests are. It's kind of a creepy feeling, stuff you like. It might be some kind of like a marketing gimmick and whatnot, but they at least know your name.
He definitely scanned our IDs using ARFID technology or whatever.
Yep. It could be
Facial recognition.
Yeah.
Yeah,
facial recognition, and any outstanding warrants.
Well,
Right.
Outstanding warrant.
Mark
What?
5 doesn't know if they have any outstanding warrants, so
Right.
Right.
it'd be news to them.
It'd be news to them. Makes good
I'm
sense.
pretty sure I don't have any outstanding warrants in this town.
In this town.
Right. Indeed. All right. And that leaves us to the gnome construct. Tell us what you're interested in.
I'm going to smile my most gnomish smile, and I'm going to gesture over and walk over to what is very clearly a gnome skull. And just kind of, so tell me where this came from.
Indeed. It was a gift.
From its owner?
No, certainly not from its owner, but from associates of its owners, from someone very high up in House Sevis. And he kind of shoots you let's do another quick perception check.
Okay. Can I also do an insight check?
Yeah, you bet.
Okay. So perception is a +3 is an 8, and insight is a 16.
Okay. All right, good. Both good numbers. So one, off of perception, he kind of just shoots you a knowing glance as he says things like, it was a gift from someone from one of the high on the totem pole members of House Sevis. And as he his glance is just a little bit almost investigative, a little bit. It's just kind of introspective. And off of your insight check, you just kind of get a sense that this guy has at least a pretty good guess at who you are, which house you belong to, and what you may be. Perhaps he might be able to perceive or assume that you might be a member of the trust, or that you. But he's at least pretty. There's an awareness there that you pick up on this guy. But you also kind of get a sense that he's legit. Whatever exchange came about, as he describes how he came into possession of the skull, you get a sense that it was a legitimate transaction. Gorman gave something of value to House Sevis, most likely, or by means of commerce, or by means of servitude, or simply paid out the nose for it. Hard to say. But you do get a sense that it was a legitimate exchange. It's not like he stole it or anything like that.
Nobody killed a gnome, and
no gnomes were harmed in the obtainment of the skull.
Its remains.
Right. Cool. You do get that sense that it's legitimately in his shop. This is the skull of one of the early founders of House Sevis. And as he says House Sevis, he kind of just again kind of gives you that glance almost to present you as a member of House Sevis. When her spirit left her body, her disciples employed the dark skills of the necromancer war mages of Karnath. In their dark rituals, they laid hold upon the founder's knowledge and power over languages, and preserved them within her very skull. And, for the right price, it can be yours. DM's notes: hold the skull in your left hand, with the eyes of the skull gazing upon a written language or toward the sound of a spoken dialect. While doing so, you understand the literal meaning of any spoken language that the skull can quote-unquote hear. You also understand any written language that the skull can quote-unquote see. It takes about 1 minute to read a page of text. The skull will not decode secret messages in text or a glyph, such as an arcane sigil, that isn't part of a written language. An extremely useful item, particularly to anybody who's interested in discerning languages that I do not understand.
Would it be all right if I just gave it a quick test to make sure that it can understand languages that I would need it to?
Yes. He hesitates a little bit, and he kind of looks back towards the counter, and he says that would require bringing forth the actual item. You'll understand, of course, if I need to employ additional security measures for you to test it out, but of course, I certainly understand the need to try before you buy, right?
I'm going to glance at my other party members Sorry, Svetlana, you weren't included in my mental telepathy connection. Apologies. But I am still glancing at you. But to the others, I'm going to communicate. Is that okay? Do we mind? And also, following that with, do we still have that note? Didn't we find a note? Do we still have that note?
Yeah, you do.
That we need translated.
So quick backstory for those watching at home, right? During your when delving through the textiles factory, right, in the bottom of that factory, while going about the business of trying to figure out this mystery and figure out what's going on, you stumbled upon what looked like a bizarre ritual taking place, right? After some hacking and slashing and covering the room with a bit of blood, you found a book, a notebook, like a leather-bound notebook, and it was scribbled with writings on its pages, and it was a language that was not decipherable. It was a language that nobody was familiar with, right? Yes. Be advised, this whatever is in that notebook will reveal some interesting some spoilers, or will reveal some sensitive information about what's actually going on in Fairhaven. And Gorman, you tell they might be made aware of that as well.
Yeah, like I wasn't planning on that being the thing that I would test it on, because I don't know what it says, and therefore I can't verify that it's working correctly. But it occurred to me that I couldn't remember if I had it or if Elspeth had it, because I believe Elspeth was the one that could determine a couple of the words.
Actually, I think I was.
You were.
Sylvan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Sylvan.
They both did.
Yeah, exactly. Like between the two of us, we were able to get a brief idea of what it was going for.
Okay.
So basically, I wanted to make sure that Elspeth didn't walk away with it.
Right. She didn't take off with the credit card and the key clue, the most significant clue that you found in the adventure, right?
Like obviously the skull would be way useful for other things besides just this notebook, but it just occurred to me that that's important to have, right?
Yep. Okay.
But then I would then turn to. I got nods. Is that correct from people that it's okay for the extra security measures?
Yes.
Yeah. So then I would turn to Utali and say I would not mind the extra security measures. I have something here written in. I think I have a random language. Pretty sure I have a random language.
Okay. Quick question. Does anybody in the party tell me a little bit about your eyesight? Does anybody have any abilities to see other than standard sight?
I do.
Ivana has dark vision.
Okay.
I don't believe I do. I think I just have normal vision.
The goat also has dark vision.
Okay.
And cannot be surprised.
Okay.
I also cannot be surprised.
Okay.
But I also do not currently have up my discipline that gives me other special vision. Sorry. I was like, maybe I do, but I don't.
Okay.
Because that would be magical darkness.
Right. Okay. So yeah, dark vision. That's about all I'm hearing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And no surprises, right? Neither the goat nor Yilzaf can be surprised by anything. Right.
I at least have the observation feat. Which is, if I can see a creature's mouth when it's speaking in a language I can understand, I can interpret it.
Okay.
Basically, I can read lips.
Okay.
But only languages that I understand.
Right on. Okay. All right. So yeah, Gorman says, "I'm happy to allow you to try it out. Give me a moment." Says, "Give me a moment to set that up." Right. A moment to prepare, and he kind of gestures towards the counter. And as he steps around these pieces, and he kind of lifts his eyes a little bit to the kind of looks back over his shoulder and lifts his eyes to just kind of like the ceiling, the room about, and speaks some kind of incantation. And there's a bit of a calmness that kind of comes over him as he kind of steps over. Suddenly feels a little less, I guess, less nervous. There before him on the counter right here appears this black skull, and he motions to you, Gilzaf, to come forward to try it out.
I am going to take a dog hair piece of scrap paper that I don't know where I got it. It's a receipt, I guess.
Okay.
And scribble something in Gnomish, or not Gnomish, Goblin on it, and then hold the skull so that I can see it.
Okay.
Does anything happen?
Okay. You begin to perceive exactly what's on the paper. You're able to kind of translate that, and it just kind of comes into your mind. You just understand the meaning. It's like seeing both sides of an equation.
Wait a minute. I speak Goblin. I'm the one that wrote this down. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
My bad. Sorry, I was typing. Okay.
No, you're fine. I was like,
Okay.
no, because I was also like, can I translate this thing? Wait a minute. I also wrote it. I already know what it says.
You wrote it. You already know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to give the skull to someone else to see if they know what it says.
Okay.
Well, if you want, I could write something in a different language.
Oh, that works.
I'll go over and I'll scribble something in Draconic.
Ooh, I
Okay.
don't know Draconic. I will hold the skull. Does it work on the Draconic?
It works on the Draconic. Again, it's like seeing both sides of an equation perfectly.
Nice.
It reads, "Hi, Gilzaf."
Aww.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to wave at you and then set the skull down and say, yes, this works. All right. I believe we all have something. Let's move on to the negotiations of how much this will cost.
Okay.
Us. Specifically
Right.
us and not anybody else. Don't even worry about it. We don't have unlimited funds or anything.
Right.
I don't say because that's not good for bargaining, right?
Yep. All right. So yeah, excellent. So he essentially totals it up, and sorry, what's that?
Just as a brief aside, I'm gonna ritualistically cast. Do I have it? Oh shoot! Do I even have it?
Oh no.
Detect magic.
Okay.
So 10 minutes, like, and once it pops up, once it casts, I just want to scan the room.
Sure. So yeah, there's magic all over the room. Magic controlling the images of the items. Magic controlling, are you looking for anything specific? In a place like Eberron, the first thing that hits you when casting detect magic, you're gonna get just a massive onslaught. It's kind of like casting something that would allow you to see electricity in our world, right? So it's everywhere. But is there something specific you're looking for?
So I'm gonna scan the room and I'm gonna focus on these unseen visages of
Okay.
beings.
Yeah.
And I want to focus on them to see if they are a magical apparition or some sort of illusion.
Yeah. All right. So Yeah, as you cast your casting that about the room, you do see you're kind of looking for something out of the ordinary because as you know, as it is with Eberron, lots of things are kind of controlled by magic. Lots of low level magic everywhere. Magic that controls the climate control, magic that controls, you know, the ambience, magic that controls each of these illusory spells that displays these items, and magic that controls security. There's a few spells at work here, but there are what you see, you kind of, or rather, you detect very large aberrations, I guess. There's one kind of standing in each of these little nooks. There's one here, one here, one here, and one here. Okay.
Do they appear hostile?
They're just kind of standing there, looking at you. These guys appeared when Utali spoke whatever incantation that he spoke while allowing Gilsaf to have a look at the skull. So you gather that this is probably a security measure. You're the only one that sees them. Well, you're the only one you had this kind of awareness about it, but it feels a little bit familiar to you in your dealings with whatever unseen entities that you've been fighting throughout this adventure. It feels kind of like along the same vein, same vibe, I guess I could say. And you're the only one that can see them and that is aware of them. You're kind of standing right next to one right now, and it's just kind of
I like slowly walk over to one, and I'm gonna like slowly wipe my claw across it to see if it's like actual tangible or.
Okay. Yeah, it's tangible. You feel your fingers react to something, and it turns its head and just kind of looks at you very quickly, as if to just quickly aware of your presence.
I just take a step back.
Okay. That's pretty menacing. It's very tall, big, and it's just kind of there.
I'll keep backing up until I bump into Svetlana.
Okay.
And just kind of whisper, you don't happen to see all those figures in the corners too, do you?
Are you okay?
Something's off. Utali.
I can fix the goat, but I don't know if you want me to use a screwdriver in your head.
What's a screwdriver?
She shows you.
No, I would not want you to put that in my head. Anyway, Utali, are you aware that there are these weird, strange beings in your store?
Utali seems he doesn't seem surprised at all. He kind of lifts up his head. He's kind of running the numbers and running the figures to run the purchase. He looks up at you and says, "Ah, you have wise eyes, my friend."
Wise eyes.
Wise eyes. There is wisdom in your vision, my friend. Don't be alarmed. It's simply a security measure. Not everyone can see my sentinels, but you can, and that is unique. Here is the total for your order. How do you wish to pay? And he just shows you some ungodly number of in gold that is just kind of beyond anything anybody you've all ever come in contact with before. But you have a feeling that between your earnings from your previous your stint throughout that last dungeon and what you might have access to through the nice little credit card that you've been given, you can probably work it out.
I'm gonna try something.
Yep.
Is it theft?
No. Because in a world full of magic, he's probably prepared for someone to cast like friends or like charm person on him. What he might
like-
not be prepared for is a psychic ability that works the same way.
Okay.
And I'm gonna expend 2 psi points
Okay.
because I currently have my mantle of awe discipline discipled.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I'm going to spend 2 psi points to roll 4d8. Oh, I only have 3. Which then indicates the amount of hit points of characters
Mhm.
that are affected by my charm, essentially. So hopefully that will be all of Utali's hit points.
Okay.
8, 9, 10, 14. If he has more than 14 hit points, I don't think this works on him.
Okay.
And
Okay.
creatures within 30 feet of me that are affected become charmed by me
Okay.
psychically, though.
Okay.
And I'm going to give him the biggest grin and also charismatic grin on my little robot face.
Okay.
And ask him if there's any chance he'd be willing to give a 4-item discount. Not much, just a little something off the top.
Okay.
I will roll a charisma check if you want me.
Okay.
I do have
Yeah,
advantage because of my mantle.
Yeah. Do run the charisma check with advantage. And are there any saves or anything like that that he has against your charm ability?
It just says I exerted an aura of sympathetic power. Roll 2d8 per psi point, and I spent 2, so I roll 4.
Okay.
Spent on this ability. The total is how many hit points worth of creatures this option can affect. Creatures within 30 feet of you are affected in ascending order of their hit point maximums, ignoring incapacitated creatures. So it actually might be... Oh, creatures immune to being charmed and creatures engaged in combat. So, like... Actually, that might include us. That's up to
Okay.
DM.
Okay.
But I'm focusing it on only him.
Okay.
I think all of us have more than 14 hit points anyway. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would envelop. It would take the person. It would take the character or the creature with the highest amount of hit points first, right? In ascending order.
ascending, so it should be lowest.
Lowest. Okay. Taking the lowest first. Okay, so it would
Yeah.
start with Utali,
Unless he's like a level 20
right?
or
Yep.
a level 10.
Okay. Yeah, just figuring out what it is and you're asking for. When you say a 4-item discount, are you asking for a discount off of the total of the 4 items, or are you asking for the price to be discounted by
By 4 items.
by the price of 4 items?
No, I'm asking because we're buying 4 instead of 1, if he'd
Right.
be willing to basically knock a few bucks off the top.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
You know, instead of 1 at $1, I'm 4 at $3
Right. Okay.
type thing.
You bet. Okay. All right.
And,
So let's see how this
with-
pans out for him.
With Charmed, I have advantages on ability checks to interact socially.
Okay.
Which I already have advantage on charisma checks. And
Okay.
no, I'm sorry. I don't have an advantage. I have a bonus on charisma checks. I have advantage because he's charmed. Sorry.
Gotcha. Okay.
Those are confusing sometimes. So the bonus is equal to half my intelligence, which would be my intelligence modifier is 1. So it would be half.
Okay.
Is half of 1 rounding up to 1?
I think it rounds.
Usually,
Yeah, half of 1 right there, right?
usually you round down
Yeah.
in 5e.
Okay.
Yeah, but
So
I
then I
think
wouldn't
you
receive
always
a
get the
bonus?
minimum 1.
Okay. All right. What's your charisma? Your charisma check?
So my charisma check is a dirty 20.
Okay.
plus maybe 1,
Okay.
if that helps.
All right. Yeah. All right. So he's kind of been, while you've been saying this, he's been kind of running the numbers and whatnot. And he kind of stops in his figuring and looks up. His eyes kind of look up at you with kind of a knowing glance. And says something to the effect of, have I not been charming enough in my dealings this day? Clearly, I need to try harder. You're a most unique creature, Gilzaf. Still, you have a point. This is a significant purchase, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I will offer you a discount. He runs his figures and presents a number, and it's about 20% lower than what was originally presented. Will this work for you, my charming
Absolutely, that will. And I will be presenting the credit card and also possibly our earnings from the dungeon, and the 20% is coming off of our earnings from the dungeon. Credit
Right.
card's still paying full price.
Okie doke. Right, you got it. Okay, let's see. Denieth, right? House Den. Am I pronouncing that right? House Denith?
Denise?
Denith, the bodyguards, or things like security, stuff like that, right? He looks at the card and says, the House Denith purchase card.
Mm-hmm.
A legendary item. So he runs his magic, and the funds are transferred, and it is good. And you each presented with the items. They each appear on the counter. Please enjoy. They all come in these really beautiful, mahogany box cases, with like all the nice accessories and whatnot. You paid a premium for these things, so they come with all the cool fixings, right?
I'm thinking about how I could put my skull that I just got in a simple little plywood box and sell this mahogany one on the black market. I mean, the regular market.
The box is pretty nice, right? That's for sure. That's a very expensive carrying case. But you might be able to make a hefty profit off of that. Maybe. I mean,
Maybe.
there was a lot that was spent, right?
Yeah. Well, by someone.
Yep. But you might be able to make a return. Could be fun. All right.
Cool.
My friends, I thank you this day for your purchases. Is there anything else I can do for you all?
Well, you seem to be quite knowledgeable of magic and these invisible people. Would you happen to know if these Lucidia stones are oh wait, no, you didn't know much about these incidents.
Mhm.
I mean, would you know if a side effect of being in contact with one would cause hallucinations or anything? Has anyone come to you about that at all?
Okay. As I said, this is the first that I had heard of such incidents. It is most distressing, indeed. But yeah, he just kind of looks at it and says, as far as I know, I have looked deeply into the matter, and they're perfectly safe. I use one nightly.
You haven't. All right. I'll have to.
I've had no effects of these Lucidia stones outside of my own slumbers. My dreams have been sweet. That is all I can say. Is the only side effect I have is pure bliss in my dreams and good sleep.
Did we roll an insight on him saying this at all?
You did. There was an insight roll. It was a good roll, and you just kind of came back. It kind of came back that Utalia was being very forthright with you.
Yeah.
So he's either completely deceived or completely unaware of what's going on. Mm-hmm. For all intents, for all that you can perceive, Utalia is a legitimate businessman. He employs some magic to travel the plains, to go deep into exotic places, exotic worlds. He comes back with interesting items. He did have a partner years ago who passed away at some point and handed the business off to Yutali. And that's kind of what it does. He makes a living selling really awesome stuff. And at some point, he scored an exclusive deal with the creators of these Lucidia stones to be the exclusive provider of that item to the city of Fairhaven, and then it'll be moving on to the regions roundabout.
Can you give us any information about this distributor of these stones?
Oh yes, of course. It was Sarlona,
Like the
city, the nation,
city.
the continent of Sarlona, the Inspired. Actually, it was they who scored the deal with me.
The Inspired. Now tell me, where do they live?
Sarlona. Hang on a second. Grab my notes. Sarlona. Major continent in Eberron, right? And you will likely have heard of Sarlona. He scored this deal with Riedra, which is the dominant power in Sarlona, ruled by the Inspired, powerful psionic beings who are just kind of the group that controls that nation. Sarlona is a separate continent from Onder, far across the sea in the world of Eberron. And yeah, that's who gave him the exclusive contract to sell the Lucidia stones here in Fairhaven. As you know, in recent years, relations with Sarlona have improved between Onder and the nations of Sarlona. Trade is opening up, and that's good news for someone like me.
Can I, as someone who's not really probably high up in the spy trade, if you will,
Uh-huh.
Have I heard any goings on about Sarlona through that network? Granted that I'm low level.
Yeah. So Riedra, ruled over by the Inspired. All that you know about them is that they are very powerful psionic beings. Very, their physical appearance, they look kind of like just really beautiful humanoid creatures, humans, elves, I guess. And they just kind of present as just really, I don't know, attractive people, right? They appear very wise. They appear just very, very demure. They're often very thoughtful and deliberate in their motions and their movements. And for a long time, there was a lot of just kind of like an unrest, I guess, or just an unease between the two continents, between the nations of Sarlona and the nations of Onder. That's the most of what you know. In recent years, in recent times, trade relations have opened up. There's been just better relations between the two continents, and that's about all that you know. They're kind of a very mysterious people, and in times past, they have been somewhat xenophobic. They've been very closed off to outsiders. So this is kind of a big step for there to be some kind of a trade agreement or trade peace between the two.
And they're psionic, you say?
They are psionic.
Interesting.
Hmm?
Thank you for your time.
Of course, my friends. Thank you so much for your purchases.
I do have one question.
Mhm.
Those stones, how many of them do you have?
I have just what you see here. However, as I sell them, more seem to appear. I receive shipments about once a week.
Those
And they
come
just
all the way across the ocean?
They're fabricated locally on the to employ their physical components are fabricated locally. However, the magic that comes with them, I don't know much about exactly where it comes from. It was kind of a trade secret. Something from Sarlona, which imbues the gems with the ability to create lucid dreams.
When I examined one of the ones that he had for sale earlier last time, did I notice like a Made in Corvair stamp anywhere else?
Nothing quite like that. No, no actual markings or anything like that. I mean, no one put it under a microscope or anything like that. But you didn't really notice anything real out in the open.
Yeah, if I could just put it under one of those diamond microscopes that like shows you the little like what is it? There's a little code that they engrave in diamonds.
Right? Yeah. Like the manufacturer code and stuff like that on manufactured diamonds.
Yeah.
Yeah, and who knows? There might be something like that with these. But yeah, mostly what you notice is just how it just kind of lulled you into like a meditative or like a wait state, or kind of like a shutdown power saver state.
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
I'm rifling through my stuff
Okay.
to find cool things to translate with my new skull.
Right. And it's interesting is it's as you rifle through, it's working like a charm. You're able to kind of move back and forth, right?
Like a charm.
Like a charm, right? Exactly. Like the one you pulled on or tried to pull on Utali, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Listen,
right.
I gotta use those psi points for something, right?
Indeed. Yep. Oh, you'll get your chance. All right. So with that, friends, that kind of concludes with that. That'll conclude like the shopping experience. The question before the group is where to go next.
Yes.
There was one more location to investigate. You can also kind of report back to the head of the investigative branch of the City Watch, and maybe compare notes and gather info.
And get
where would
told
you
off
like to
for
go?
using the credit card for such a large purchase.
I know, right? It makes you a little nervous, but this might have been anticipated.
Better to ask for forgiveness later, right?
Yep.
By later, I mean later.
Much later.
We're already in sort of the fancy part of town, right? So
Yeah.
You are.
So the Milford ward where the other person lives wouldn't be too far.
It
Not
wouldn't
at all.
be. It's an apartment complex that's not too far from here.
I vote for that. Yeah. And on the way, I can translate that notebook if y'all want.
Okay.
Nobody on the public transportation system will think twice about me holding a skull at all.
Well, as I said,
There's a
magic is
mechanical
pretty
goat
commonplace
next to
here,
us.
Magic is commonplace. Yeah, exactly. So no one will notice.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
Is that where we want to go next?
Been getting strange looks lately these past couple hours. So who knows?
Okay. All right. Is that where we want to go next then?
I'm down.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's still
All
plenty
right.
of time left in the day, as I understand, right? So
Yeah, there is. It's about mid-afternoon right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can do that.
It's not like we're
Okay.
stopping in at midnight or anything like that. On the way there, I would like to translate the notebook.
Okay. All right. You do want to translate the notebook, and you can take. I mean, there's different ways you can get there. Obviously, it's not super close, but you could walk. It would probably take maybe a good half hour or so to get there. You can take. There is a small light rail that moves throughout the city that could get you there in about 15 minutes or so.
I'm down for the light rail. The police gave us their Metro card, so.
Okay. Yep.
Give you a chance to decode that book.
Exactly. And not do it while I'm walking.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. All right, that sounds good. Could we take about a 5-minute break while I bring up some maps and materials, and we'll jump back in real quick, if that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take that break time to get water.
Yeah,
I still
it is good to hydrate.
I'm not sure I have a be right back screen, so we'll just go back onto the welcome screen for now.
Cool.
Okay.
Alright, see you in a few minutes.
go until about 7:30 my time,
Stand
10:30 Eastern.
Welcome
Yeah.
back, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Alright, we are good whenever you are, DM.
Alrighty, good. Okay, so you each opted to investigate that last location, the home of Mayweather Westloon. Mayweather Westloon was an influential member of the Arcane Congress. She lost her mind not long after using a Lucidia Stone. Started just kind of babbling, and then was eventually just kind of put on, took a sabbatical from her service in the Congress. She lives here, and no one's really been here to check on her. That was maybe a few weeks ago when she was sent out, and there had been some sporadic communication with her since. Some people have kind of come by to check on her, but she's for the most part just been kind of a shut-in. You find yourselves in the hallway leading to the front door of her apartment, which is here. Gilzaf leading the crew. Tell us what you do.
I hand the leadership off to a different.
Quickly delegate, right?
Exactly. But quickly jump to the back of the party. But I believe if there's anybody in the hallway of this apartment, I would be grinning winningly at them, but letting someone else knock on the door.
Okay.
Svetlana's
Yeah, no
happy
other-
to take that
Okay.
with Goat, if that's what you would like.
I just picture Goat knocking on the door with like his head, like boom, boom, boom.
Like a headbutt.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a headbutting goat.
I love it.
I think
Svetlana standing before the door.
before she knocks, she's gonna give this door a good look-see.
Okay.
Yeah, was this made
Yeah.
by the Eberron branch of the Ted John Doors?
Yeah, you never know, right?
I'll cast guidance on Svetlana.
Okay. Sorry, casting what now on Svetlana?
Guidance.
Guidance. Okay. Alrighty. It's a security door. It's got a locking mechanism. Uses a glyph and whatnot. There's a handle. Kind of a nicer handle, but not like super nice, so as that the builders of the building would lose money in spending all their cash on nice doorknobs. But it's pretty high end. You can tell it's kind of a nice place.
Then, having sized up the lock for
Uh-huh.
no reason at all, we'll give the door a nice sound rapping with the old knuckles.
Okay. All right. Knocking on the door, you kind of get a sense that, sometimes when you knock on a door, you worry that the sound of your knocking isn't going to travel very far because of the thickness of the door. This door is a little different. It's designed to kind of pick up the sound of a knock and carry the sound throughout the residence.
An acoustic door.
An acoustic door through magical means, of course.
Ooh.
There's no answer.
There's not a doorbell, is there?
There is a small glyph to the right of the, just to the next to the door handle, where you can place your finger. Yeah. What's up, Gilzap?
At a glance, is the door locked?
You can't really tell. It's closed. That's what we know so far.
Okay.
We're gonna press the doorbell first.
Okay.
We're gonna press the doorbell first. It's rude to
Okay.
to open other people's doors randomly.
You should always knock before breaking and entering.
yeah. Exactly.
For
Just in
sure.
case.
All right. Svetlana, placing your finger on the glyph next to the door handle, you hear an audible chime as the spell activates and carries the sound throughout the residence inside. As the chime kind of dies out, you're met with only silence. No answer.
And how many times is it appropriate to knock and or ring the doorbell before you can break and enter?
It depends on where you're at, but in Fairhaven, it's about 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
You know
I have
that
no
this
idea. I don't
guy
know.
is actually in there, but he's hiding because he doesn't want to answer the door for solicitors. We've all
Right.
done it.
Or anybody,
We've all
because
done
why would you knock on my door when you text me?
I have absolutely hidden when I've heard the a knock on the door.
Oh my.
Like,
Mhm.
nope.
Mhm.
Svetlana does
sometimes-
see if the door opens when she pulls the handle or turns the handle now.
Yeah. Placing your hand on the handle. It's one of those like lever handles, which kind of it's got a comfortable grip. You just kind of turn it, and there's just this satisfying mechanism with it. You know how you just kind of there's some doors that just feel good to open, and this is one of those doors, right?
This is a head-on door.
It's a very satisfying door. As you look at the emblem, there's something that there's a TJD emblem just above the handle, and
Presumably
sure enough,
distributed by
yep,
Gorman Utali.
most likely could be.
Norman
Could be
Utali
a-
doors associated.
It could be
It's
a
the
gourmet
It's a
door.
Ted
interplanar
John-
distributor for Ted John.
It's a Ted John
That's right.
door, but the doorbell is of Gorman Utali
Norman
make.
Utali's? Yeah.
It might be. You never know, right?
Hey, is there a maiden
Barovia.
Barovia? Thank you. My joke was gonna fall real flat because I forgot the name.
In Barovia.
Is there a maiden
that where-
Barovia sign?
Is that where we decided that Ted John's doors was
That's
based?
where it
Was in
originated.
Barovia?
That's where it originated.
That's where they
Yeah.
originated. So they
Is that
could
where
be
they
based
came from?
anywhere, but
Yeah, I wonder how they got on that plane. Maybe they worked out a deal with Strahd, right? And then started selling doors across the plains.
Yeah.
or the doors were just that good.
Yeah,
They lasted.
Ted
They
John
can-
puts traveling salesman to a whole different level.
Mhm.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Dimensional salesman.
Yep.
The sinister
think of
option is the Dreadlords actually let the doors out so that they can create new portals for the domains of
Nice. Yep,
Are
yep.
you
We already have a
Ted John?
logo for that. We already have a logo. We just
My
need like a tagline, right? We need a slogan. Like
Is
Ted
my
John
mimic
doors.
actually a Ted John door, but like a baby?
Ah,
He can be.
Well, you never know. Can be.
Hmm.
All right, so yeah, it's a satisfying door to open. It clicks, it moves, and it just opens very smoothly. The door was open.
All right. Well,
Svetlana actually sighs kind of sadly at that and is putting away what appear to be thieves' tools.
Right?
oh,
Can
yeah.
I, at a glance, tell how good your thieves' tools are? Svetlana? Are they
Well-
like some quality thieves' tools?
They are clearly custom made.
Am I allowed to be impressed with
Mhm.
this? I think I might be impressed with this. Maybe after this session we can talk shop about our thieves' tools together as two thieves' tool aficionados.
hmm They look
That
pretty
is an
nice, right? Right? The light from the hallway spills into the apartment, just beyond. And I forget what they were called. They're called glow globes in the Dune universe, but they're these magical lights, right? That kind of hover a bit. And as the door opens, and as your presence is kind of detected by those magics in place, the room kind of lights up somewhat dimly.
So they weren't already on, which means there's not somebody currently moving around that space.
Not that you can. At least that's what you might deduce. At least somebody who doesn't, or any creatures that don't rely on light weren't in there moving around. hmm
Does there appear to be any sort of disturbance?
As you poke in, difficult to tell from where you're at. As you're kind of gazing in through, you can kind of see the entryway. But as far as you can tell, stuff kind of looks in order. You're kind of
Yes.
looking into this space here. You can see the edge of what looks like a kitchenette. That looks like some kind of a cooking surface.
An oven
Right there?
chair, if you will.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, yeah.
Svetlana
Beyond,
was
you
going to
see.
wave goat in.
Okay. Sending in the goat.
Yep.
Okay.
She can't see through his eyes, but
Okay.
he can trigger traps.
Right.
I'm going to put up my precognition discipline.
Okay. Okay.
I have advantage on initiative rolls, and I will be sneaking.
Okay. You got it. As the goat moves in, you can see kind of what looks like a kitchen here. Here, let me reveal that real quick.
I'm gonna start walking in as well.
Okay. You can kind of see what looks like a kitchen here, and then a dining area beyond. Storage area. There's food placed out on this food prep area, this kitchen area. The kind of a heavy scent of like a pungent scent of food that might have been left out for a little while hits
How
your
does it
nose as you
compare
step
to
in.
the food left out in that one guy with the apple orchards?
Brendan.
It's a little
Yeah.
less.
Fairhaven?
Yeah, a little less pungent, less rotten.
Pungent? Okay, but
Yep.
but that like
Mhm.
same sort of smell, just less so.
Yeah, I would say it's. I mean, this is more. I think that was like rotten fruit, basically, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That was there. This is kind of like you can see some meat, some cheeses, little charcuterie thing going on. Not like rotten out or anything like that. But it's just kind of it might have been left out for a little while. Like it was kind of like what kind of hits you is just kind of like almost like a bit of a laziness element, right? There where the food was kind of left out but not really cleaned up right away. And you kind of like it's just one of those afternoons where you just kind of walk by it every so often and grab a piece and just keep going on with your day, right? That kind of thing. You don't really clean it up just yet, but so it sits out for the bulk of the day, right? That kind of
You're
a thing.
playing Russian roulette with E. coli.
Kind of like it might be that kind of situation, driven by a little bit of laziness and apathy, right? As the goat moves through the unit, moving through the apartment, you can kind of see what looks like a seating area just beyond, which looks out over a courtyard, and then the greater city of Fairhaven just beyond out there.
Has anybody else been calling hello, hello? Anybody home? Hello? Because I'm hiding, so I'm not doing that.
Okay.
I'm gonna detect magic as a ritual spell as we're walking through. Just kind of survey the surrounding area.
Okay. Yeah, and
the circuit and just will bleat if he sees anyone.
Okay. You got it. So yeah, moving through. Let's see. Yeah, you kind of see like a small seating area here, and a greater seating area in this corner, dining area, food prep area, kitchen, that kind of thing. There are doors that line this wall, front door, and then another door here as well. Reaching out with detect magic, Xylek, you do get that quick feedback at onslaught of that residual like low level magic that controls all the things, right? Climate control, all those things, right? But there is something else here. Just kind of like I don't know, what kind of strikes you is just kind of like a beam waiting to be broken, I guess you'd say, or a line waiting to be tripped, kind of like in a magical sense. It doesn't strike you as having been tripped just yet, but you can kind of feel it being there.
Do I get a sense of where this is?
It's just kind of all over. It's just kind of like something that's there to like wait for something to be tripped, I guess you could say.
All right. I'll relay that information to the group.
Okay.
There definitely seems to be some sort of latent magical prowess that is in held in some sort of suspense. It's I don't know, a lingering aspect of a spell that has yet to be broken, but has still persisted for. Can I tell if this spell has been around for a while or if it was like more recent? I don't know if that.
Mm,
I do that
yeah,
with,
yeah, really difficult to tell, honestly. It's just kind of something there. It feels like a detection spell or a detector spell, and it just
okay,
kind of
yeah.
gives you the impression in your mind of like a beam that's waiting to be broken, or
Hmm.
a tripwire that's a line that's waiting to be tripped. That's kind of the symbolism that comes to your mind when you ponder
Cool.
that. Hmm.
Is this like
Yeah,
some kind of alarm thing, are you thinking?
I guess that would make the most sense.
But
I
wouldn't an
can't.
alarm be tripped by our presence?
It depends on where you
That's
put the alarm.
That is true.
that's the most confusing part is that I can't pinpoint the exact location of this beam of magic. It's somewhat suffused in the surrounding area.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
think our best bet is just to proceed with extreme caution.
So we know that there's something there that's kind of waiting, right? All
I'm,
right.
I've got an idea here. So just one moment.
Right?
And Svetlana's going to whip out some of her tools and do the old razzle dazzle. Cast see invisibility.
Ooh.
Sure.
I ain't got that one. Because I don't have
That's
it.
it. That'll
Okay.
go for an hour and I'll just lose it.
Okay. As you cast that and look about the room, you see what looks like a threshold of sorts, coming kind of right around the front door. It looks like it's just a big, kind of like a barrier in the shape of the door, and it looks like it's just kind of like a maybe it could be some kind of a portal. It's closed, that you can tell. And it's just kind of there when you cast the invisibility.
Is the front door closed?
It is. Well, I assume you closed it behind you all.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
would have closed it behind us if
It's good
if
practice when
y'all
you break
didn't-
in.
Yeah, you don't leave doors open when you break in places.
We didn't break in. The door was unlocked.
It was unlocked, but as a thief, I wouldn't just walk into someone's house and leave the door open.
Yep.
Svetlana's not a thief. However, she does know how to pick locks for reasons.
No, I totally
Indeed.
understand that. It's a little mechanic, and you're interested in how it works.
Makes sense. Yeah.
I'm interested in the gold on the other side of it.
There you go. Yeah, your physical eyes see the door see the physical door closed. Your magical perception, as you can see invisibility, you see this odd, just like this odd portal in the place of the door, this outline there. And yeah, it doesn't appear to be active in any way. It's just kind of there.
Okay, I think I found the thing, and don't panic, but it's right across the door we came through. But it's not working right now, I don't think. So, now we have to find the key for it, yes?
I'm gonna look at the door that is just
Uh-huh.
a door to me because I don't see the invisible door that I'm standing next to, and then look back at you, and then look back at the door, and then look at the goat, and just kind of shrug.
Right?
How does the goat?
Nice.
Yeah. Right.
So we have to open the door that's closed and go through it, yes? That's what you do when you find closed secret door, yes?
We just went through this door.
Yes, there's another secret magic door on the back side of this door.
Yes, we would need a way
So
to
it has to be
unlock
some
that.
kind of key, something you open with, yes?
Yes.
Hey, Marky Mark.
Marky
Yes.
Mark? That's a fun
Do you have familiar things with, I don't know, magic doors or something?
With magic what? I didn't get that.
Doors.
Oh, I don't think so.
Are you secretly a key?
I do not know.
I mean, they were a key to the last place we were at.
That's true.
I do not see this door to
It's okay.
be
Look,
able to unlock it.
we should look around for key to door, I think, yes?
We should also look around for occupants.
Yes, that too, but yes, that one first, and then if we can't find them,
okay.
we go to their secret door.
Yes.
I'm gonna reach
yes.
out in front of me
Okay.
and like run my hand over the back of the door. See if anything happens.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Nothing really happens. I mean, tell me about your abilities to just kind of detect magic or
I don't
detect unseen things.
I don't think I
Not so
have
much?
any of that.
Okay.
Not under spells.
Yeah.
But under abilities. Oops,
Mhm.
nope, that's features and traits.
You know what I can do, actually, while you're doing that? Summon my very psychic mystic hand. And also run it around where Mark V is running his mechanical hands.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
have anything like that.
Okay. All right, you bet. So yeah, as you run your hand about, you just kind of feel the surface of the Ted John door, right? And then Gilzap employing additional measures, that psychic energy, you kind of get a sense of something there, but it doesn't.
Whoa.
It just comes back a little. It's a little bit vague, but there's something like it just the senses that line your fingertips pick up on something that a little different than just good quality Ted John materials. There's something else that this door seems to be concealing.
Was this person a mime?
I don't know. As far as I didn't really write much backstory on their career or their background before they entered politics, but you never know, right?
Because like mimes are always.
Right.
I will relay
That's for sure.
the feedback on my psychic hand.
Okay. Good. Xylek in the
The
back.
hapticness of the door, one might
Yep.
say.
Reporting on the haptics. Okay. Xylek, you hear that feedback coming back. You're looking at that door here, right?
Yes. Yeah, I'm going to go through. I'm going to test that door and keep an eye out for anything magical.
Okay. All right. The door is open. You're able to peer inside. Let me see here. I'll open up that room for you. Okay. Stepping in, looks like a bedroom. There's a small desk, a bed, of course, a rug that lines the floor, and a small desk here with a notebook on top of it. Yeah, that's what you see there. Let me see. Svetlana, standing at this door. Are you looking at this door here?
I hadn't decided on that yet. I know
Okay.
we're approaching the end of time, so
Okay.
we can. I mean, she can toss that open now, but she's going to be methodical about examining doors, that kind of thing first.
Okay.
Unlike
bet.
Elspeth.
Okay. All right. Unlike Elspeth.
Lightning first.
Yes.
Ask questions never.
Yep. That was how it was.
You knock with the thunder damage, and then you say hello with the lightning.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
Even though lightning
Xylek,
becomes before the thunder,
right?
due to the natures
travel-
of light and
Xylek, you
sound waves.
Mm.
Xylek, you appear to be kind of in that bedroom. There's a book on that on that on that desk there, or on that
Yeah.
kind of like an altar there.
Uh-huh.
It's wide open. It looks like there's like some writing scribbled upon it.
All right, well, take a look at it and see if it's of any importance.
Okay. This appears to be a journal of Mayweather, and it just kind of slowly categorizes. At first, it starts out as just kind of like a dream journal of how things went. You hear cool things of you read through like scenarios of dreams that she's had when sleeping, and at first it was just really cool. She took herself back to her childhood, favorite childhood memories, and relived those things. She visited people long since passed away, old friends, things like that. Of course, she tried the flying dream, and of course, she tried the I'm invisible dream. All these things, but then slowly these things kind of start to take a dark turn, and she begins to come in contact with certain entities within her dreams. Most of the time, they take these entities take the shape or form of somebody who meant something dear to her mother, a childhood friend. But they begin to kind of speak in riddles and speak in different languages to her, and begin to kind of influence her. And slowly, you see her demeanor change through this this whole path, where she kind of begins to act and do those things that these entities tell her to do. She just kind of falls under their power, until eventually she writes that she was she was basically put on leave or kicked out of the place. Through that all, in the last couple of verses or whatever of this writing, you get a sense that she was mounting some kind of a resistance and trying very hard to fight against what was happening to her. There's a name that's familiar to you that comes up, that of Mark V. In that moment, the door opens up here, and this Mayweather Westloon steps through the door. Let's see. Let me see here. Moved it to the wrong layer. Sorry.
My sneak is 23, just saying.
Okay. But yeah, sorry, I can't get the token to work. But she steps through the door, Mark V. She sees you and calls your name. Says, Mark V. She recognizes you. And with that, we'll close out our session for this. As we are getting close to the time. And we will pick up on this one in just one short week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Spooky!
Does anybody have any questions or anything I can do for anybody before we close out for the night?
Captain, no, you do not have any questions for Jason.
Right?
Yeah,
I'm good.
my question is, who the fuck?
Right? Because there's no memory, right?
Nope.
My question is for Mark V. How dare you keep a secret?
Right?
I'm keeping the secret for myself as well.
That's fair. That's how you dare.
That's how I dare.
You should kick your own ass.
Right?
Gonna be like in Liar Liar.
Indeed. There we go. The token to work. She steps out, looks directly at Mark V and calls her name. Says, Mark V, as if she recognizes you.
Wow,
All
is
right.
this your owner?
Right.
What door does she
All right.
come out of?
I think it was this one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah. She came from this door. Right here. All right. So with that, we will answer the WTFs in the coming week. And we'll close out.
Right?
Yes, indeed. And in the meantime, don't forget to drink your Ovaltine. This week's imaginary sponsor is Ted John's Doors. Thank you for watching, and I'll hand the floor back to our gracious host, Beluga.
Thank you, Ted John, for sponsoring tonight's stream. Yeah, I know, Captain.
Jeez.
Thank you everyone for joining. We will be back in 1 week, 8:30 Eastern Time, for another episode of Dream Dealers of Fairhaven to find out who the fuck. Next week will also be, not this week, but next Thursday will be Rise of the Rune Lords at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So be sure to tune in for both of those. With that, I am Bluga, your guildmaster here at the Role Players Guild, and I play Mark V, the Warforged Warlock. Alex, to you.
This is Laura's warning call, but I'm Alex. I play Xylek, your lizard folk cleric druid multiclasser. Laura.
My name's Laura. I play Gilzaf, and the skull, the Taki language skull, is broken now. Its jaw just dropped completely off of it with this revelation.
There's a warranty.
Haha, good.
Yeah.
Better with that price. And now it's B Spouse's turn.
I'm B Spouse, and I've been playing Svetlana and her friendly goat, the latter of which does not see invisible, but does tend to stare at you as though it can see things you can't. Jason.
Nice.
All right. Thank you all again for another fun session. As always, it's a pleasure to hang out with y'all. And we will gather up here again. I am Jason, your friendly DM, and we will gather up again here in 1 short week. We'll see you then.